Chica, la frase. La frase.
Good afternoon, students. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, so I am sharing the screen. I hope you can see it.
Okay, Anna. Okay.
Okay, I'm still hearing some noise from students. Can you? Okay, let me mute you. Okay, so yes, it is raining, so you might hear some disturbance. Okay, I think the network is also fluctuating because of it, maybe. I don't know what noise I'm hearing. Let me check with YouTube. Okay. Yes, so we are discussing air pollution, and we looked at what are the different causes of air pollution, what are the different types of air pollutants. So very important among them were again the major and minor pollutants. Okay. Then we also looked at what are the effects of air pollution, right? So in the morning lecture, we discussed what is the effect of air pollution on animals, on plants, right? Then also, of course, on humans. And we also saw what is the effect on materials here on the stratosphere. So this is how we discuss the effects of air pollution in detail. Right? So now let us look at some of the, okay, so I think we also discussed this slide. We discussed what are the control measures. So you just need to know it in brief. So you just need to know the names. We don't need to know how each of those equipments work here, but it's enough that you know the names. Now, this is a general slide. It is showing you the causes, effects, and solutions together. So you can, it is been summarized here, so it is easy to understand and remember. Okay. Now, I wanted to discuss. Yes, exactly. So this slide, or the role of individuals and the role of state. Yes, so this is something that I wanted to discuss with you. Okay. In the morning, students already mentioned a few solutions for air pollution. Yes, and yes, all of those solutions are very correct. But let's discuss them in one or two lines. Okay. So what is the first one that you can do as an individual? Is that you have to regularly check up your engines. Yeah, so make sure that you don't use very old vehicles which are going to use going to emit a lot of carbon emissions. Yeah, so make sure that these old vehicles that you might have, make sure that they are replaced. Yeah. So now today, I think BS6 norms have come, Bharat standard norms. So you can see here, I'm putting the cursor. So Bharat standard 6 norms have come, right? So they define the define the quantity of carbon emissions allowed here, or they define the amount of lead petrol, right? So the parameters for the engine have been decided here, and so the Bharat standard norms are in line with that of the Euro norms. Yes, the Europe international norms, they coincide with them. Yes, so we are already using, we already have Bharat stage 6 vehicles in India. Okay, so which means that we absolutely cannot be using 20-year-old vehicles anymore. Yes, so it is best that we replace them. Okay, and even RTO, especially in Pune, I know that the RTO, if your vehicle is 20 years old, then you have to re-register it here. And while re-registering it, again, a lot of checks are done. Okay, so that is what we can do at an individual level, because we have to each play a role in the conservation of this environment. Yeah. Then I think someone mentioned using public transport system. Yes, that is correct. Then using bicycles, that is also very true. So the use of bicycles in cities has reduced here as opposed to the earlier generation. So now our generation, your generation, we have to restart using bicycles, because bicycles are eco-friendly and they're also healthy. Yeah, so you don't have to go to the gym, right, to exercise. So even if you cycle, even if you use a cycle every day in the morning, it is going to be your workout, right? In I think in many cities we already have a lot of bicycle groups, right? So people come out, they make groups, right? There are WhatsApp groups about bicycles, there are Facebook groups. So people will circle the city in the morning in your group. Yeah. So to promote the use of these bicycles, it's very, very essential. Clear? I think all of us, we will have a two-wheeler, like we will have a two-wheeler, but we will not have a bicycle. Yeah, so this is a cause of worry. We should all have bicycles. Yeah, and we should use them, not just have them. We should use them. Okay. I think Ferguson Road का कुठेतरी मध्ये ते काहीतरी app होता ना, where you can actually rent a bicycle. I don't know if it is still there. Um, Even in colleges. So I know in MIT College and in Symbiosis College, the campus, you could actually rent a bike for 1 hour, right? So that they had an app. So the students themselves designed the app, and you can book a bicycle for 1 hour. So it's a very good initiative, right? It's initiated by the students. It's for the students, and plus it is also eco-friendly. Have you heard of such initiatives? Yes, anyone? Have you heard of such initiatives? Yes, and it was right. So rupees 2 per hour for cycles, right? In colleges, it was 10 rupees, right? Okay. Yes. Yeah. So it is a very good initiative. Yeah, because you know that we also have students living in the hostel, right? So sometimes they might not always bring their two-wheelers from their cities. So if you are provided with a bicycle, then it is good for students who are coming from out of state also, yeah, or out of Pune town, right? So it is, the uses are multiple. Now then the other one is also public transport system. So you have so basically carpooling or using public transport system where a lot of people are going to travel in a single car, right, or in a single bus. Yeah, so that is the aim, is to mobilize a lot of people in 1 square feet. Clear? So the same area that a car will use, and if there is one person riding in it, as opposed to one car and 4 people. Yeah, so you're mobilizing 4 people, and therefore you're saving the fuel of 3 cars, right? So that is the aim of public transport. Yeah? Of course, in India, public transport, there is also socio-economic reasons. Expected because of this rains, right? So I think now, can you hear me now? I think connection has been established.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, so let me share the screen again. Right, so we were discussing the measures of controlling air pollution. Yes. Right. Right. So then next one is what? Shifting to less polluting fuels or using biofuels, clear, or using bioethanol, biodiesel. Yeah. So uh, the the petrol that you use even today, right? It contains 5% bioethanol. Okay. So already in India, we are already using biofuels. Clear. So the maximum amount of, yes, Sunny, do you have a question? If you have a question, you please type it in the chat box. So Sunny, if you have a question, you can write it in the chat box. We can discuss it at the end of the class. So biofuels are already in use in India. We already use 5% biofuel in our petrol. Clear? So the amount that is permissible is 10%. Clear? So slowly in India we can increase our biofuel potential. Clear? Biofuels, that is bioethanol or biodiesel. There, even in biofuels, there are 4 generations. Yeah, so, but we don't need to go into much detail. What is good to know is that already the petrol that you get, you are already using biofuels. Yeah, the petrol that we get already contains biofuel mixed with it. Is that clear? So, Sunny, you can. Okay, so I think his hand is still seen here. Okay. Yes. Okay. So that is the case of biofuels, bioethanol, biodiesel, and of course planting more trees for forestation. So what I want to highlight here again is that we always say that each one plant one. Yeah, but we should really check whether you have planted at least one tree or not. Okay, and the answer is clearly no. Most people, most students have not planted even one tree. Okay, but it is very, very essential that you plant at least one tree. Okay, so in we have gardens, right? If you cannot plant trees, then you should at least water them in the summer season. Yeah, so especially in Pune or in your cities also, if you go for a morning walk, you know that, or if you're going to a garden, then you know that if plants have been planted, if there are certain saplings that have been planted, you can actually go and water them here, and this facility is actually available even in Pune. Yeah, so try to plant trees, also try to water them. Yeah, then what is the next one? I think we saw Bharat stage norms. So the odd even practice was started by the Delhi government, I think a few years back, right? So I'm sure you must have heard about it. The odd even rule of using your vehicles to reduce the pollution in Delhi. Yeah, so I'm sure you must have heard of it, the odd and even rule. And then last one, you also have the suffer air monitoring uh, app, right, or the website. So we saw the website in the morning, and I have pasted the link of the website also in the next slide here, so you can look it up also. Yeah, so you can look it up for yourself. If you're in Pune, I think we already saw the Pune statistics. If you're in the other cities, then you can check for your own city also. Okay, so it has covered all the cities in India. Okay, is that clear with this website? It shows you the quality of air in a particular area. Now, can you quickly just tell me a few innovative things? Can you think of any innovative solution other than the ones that we discussed here to control air pollution? You can write it in the chat box. So, something that we have not discussed, but something that you think that it is a very innovative solution, you have heard, you have read about it, or you have seen it somewhere being practicing for reducing air pollution. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. Can anyone think of something? Is there any way, is there any innovative solution? So I can start with one, is that what happens in these developed countries, so at the national level. So what do they do, or in the so in the international level, in the cities where you know that at 6 p.m. in the afternoon, in the evening, there is going to be a lot of traffic, right? Because offices सगळे सुटतात आणि सगळे घरी निघतात. So तेव्हा रस्त्यावर खूप ट्रॅफिक असतो, right? So 6 to 8 p.m. So what they do is they actually, so if you take certain roads in the cities, if you take certain routes, then they actually charge you for that, right? So that is how they regulate traffic. Yeah, like for example, 6 ते 8 संध्याकाळी 6 ते 8 कर्वे रोडवरनं तुम्ही आलात तर तुम्हाला काहीतरी 10 काहीतरी 50-100 रुपये जास्त द्यावे लागतील. Yeah, so this is to encourage people to use carpooling or to use public transport, right? So if you're using your own vehicle and you will travel on Karve Road between 6 to 8 p.m., then you will be paying more, right? You will pay some 100 rupees or something every day extra. Yeah, so something like that has already been started in Korea. Then like this is also being done in Singapore. Yeah, so all these practices are being done globally, yeah, to check traffic, right? To check traffic and therefore to check air pollution. Are you understanding? Are you following this? So can you think of anything else? Can you think of any other innovative solution? Can you think of any other solution? Okay, so you have heard of smog eating buildings. Okay, that might be true in especially the countries where there are severe winters. Countries where there are severe winters, so they might actually heat the air, right? So or treat the air so that the air can rise above and therefore it can help in diffusing the smog, or it can help in diffusing the smoke. Anything else? I think yesterday someone mentioned indoor pollution, right? And someone mentioned about indoor air purifier plants. Yeah, so just let me write it in the chat box so you can also have an idea. So there are air purifying plants, right? So you can use those plants in your home. So to tackle indoor pollution, that is also an innovative way. Yes, anything else? Anyone else? Is there, can you think of something innovative to tackle air pollution? Use of solar energy rather than electric energy. Okay, so encouraging, can we say encouraging renewable sources of energy? So you can encourage the use of these renewable sources of energy, especially solar energy. Okay, very good. And because India is already a tropical, subtropical country, we have a lot of solar power, right? And we can use it to our great benefit. So use of other sources of energy. Yes, that is also very good. Anything else? Anything else? Yes, quickly, just last two more sessions, last two more solutions from your side. It can't just be me spoon feeding everything clear. It has to come from your side also. Yes, students, come on. I'm going to call out your names. You're just not at all active here. Yes, Mugdha, Samruddhi, Raksha, Karan Siha Rajput, Payal. Yes, I have not heard of these students. You're not active in even in the chat box. Yes, Ankur, Ankita, Gauri is active. I have seen Gauri. What about the others? Manasi. Okay, there are two Manasis. Yes, I think Mohini is here. We have so many participants. If your mic is not working, you can write it in the chat box. It has to be both ways. Okay, and it is a very it is a simple topic actually. It's not that it's something very difficult. Not to use aerosol sprays as they damage ozone layer. Yes, very good, Sakshi, that is correct. So avoid the use of these sprays. Clear? So try to use more and more other methods. Yeah, so your deodorants, your deodorant sprays, Then even spray painting, clear? So spray painting technique that they use. Then you also have sprays for baking, right? म्हणजे केक वगैरे बनवतात, right? तर ते केक वगैरे बनवायला पण they use these whipped cream spray. Have you seen it? Yes, air fresheners. Air fresheners. So if the air freshener, it just has a small like fan-like structure, then it's okay. But if it is aerosol based, then that is not okay. Yes, avoid the use of, okay, stop the use of plastic burning. Yes, that is very correct. So that is why plastic, to treat plastic, what are the solutions to treat plastic? That topic has been given in your assignment, clear? Because we want you to think about it, clear? So we want you to look up, research that topic, and write some interesting solutions for treating the menace of plastic. Is that clear? Okay, I think I have read all the, yes, freshener. Okay, yeah, so very, very interesting solutions. Okay. And what is the role of the, so another state that I forgot to mention is that legal protection, clear? So the Air Prevention and Control Act, which was made in 1981, is a legal protection, clear? So it talks about certain fines, right? It talks about the establishment of the Central Pollution Control Board, clear? Because the case of air pollution was rising in India, and there was no air quality monitoring, there was no air quality control, clear? And therefore this act had to be made, clear? So act आलाय म्हणजे काय की legal काहीतरी गोष्टी आल्यात. So if you are violating that, then you will get fined, clear? So this is the importance of making an act, clear? So you also have the Central Motor Vehicles Act, which is now encouraging electric cars and electric hybrid cars, also a lot of battery operated cars, right? I think someone had mentioned rechargeable batteries, that is correct. By encouraging circular economy approach. Okay, Preeti, can you elaborate that, Preeti? Do you mean recycling and upcycling? Yes, by using rechargeable batteries, that is correct, or using,
Yes, ma'am.
or also electric cars, electric hybrid cars, or using battery operated cars. Yeah, so I think already two-wheelers, right? म्हणजे आपली ही Activa वगैरे, they are doing research on lithium battery operated bikes, clear? And you don't require, I think you don't require a license. Okay, I'm not sure, but I think you don't require a license to drive those battery operated bikes, clear? And they are actually very strong. So I have used it. I have used a bike that was operated on batteries, clear? And it is strong, but only thing is that it is not as powerful, clear? But it will help you in traveling. So you can, yes, no license is needed, correct? So you can go from one place to another. Okay? So it serves the purpose of transport. Is that clear? Okay. So now we will be looking at this Air Prevention and Control Act in our next unit in detail. So now I will go to the next slide. Okay, so which is talking of soil pollution. So what is soil? So soil is a thin covering over land here, and it is a mixture of many different things. It is a mixture of minerals. It is a mixture of organic matter. Clear? Then there is air, there is water, and very important, there are also living organisms inside soil. Clear? So all of this cluster together to form soil. Okay, so soil is not a simple entity, but it is a mixture. Yeah. Then what happens in soil pollution? There is introduction of chemicals, or there is change in the natural composition, which therefore changes the soil quality. Clear? So if the soil quality is getting hampered, we say that there is soil pollution. Okay. So what happens is that soil कुठल्या कारखान्यात तयार होत नाही, right? So soil cannot be manufactured. Clear? Soil, we cannot artificially make soil, right? We need natural healthy soil. We can add nutrition to soil, but we cannot make soil. Yeah, so therefore the use of clean soil, unpolluted soil, soil which is nutritious, is very, very important. And again, highlighting the need for a agrarian country like India, soil is very, very important here. What are the causes of soil pollution? Okay, so look at these. These are the causes of soil pollution. So which talks about primarily industrial waste, then agriculture waste, also a lot of modern waste, and the fourth one is biological waste. Okay, so industrial agents, agriculture agents, some modern agents, and biological agents. Yeah, so these four agents are the cause of soil pollution. In soil pollution, so in industrial agent, what do you have? There are industrial waste, a lot of chemicals, a lot of toxins. Then the second one, if we club it together, it is agriculture agents. In agriculture, of course, fertilizers, pesticides, and salts. Yeah, so if there is excessive farming, what happens if there is excessive irrigation? A lot of salt is left behind in the soil, clear, and the water evaporates. In the summer season, the water is going to evaporate, but the salts are going to be left behind. So therefore, it is going to pollute the quality of soil. It is going to cause soil pollution. Yeah. Then modern agents. So what are these modern agents? So there can be radioactive waste. Because sometimes nuclear waste, it can get treated and it is put into landfills. So the land also gets contaminated with radioactive waste. And then of course you have e-waste. So electronic waste is again a huge cause of concern for soil pollution, because a lot of these chemicals, clear, so lithium, arsenic, chromium, nickel, all of these toxic compounds, mercury, they get released into the soil. Okay. And the case of e-waste is such that every 2 years, people are changing their mobile phones, right? Everyone wants to get a modern, updated phone. So every 2-3 years, people keep changing their mobile phones. And that again, what do you do with your old ones, right? So if you're not recycling it, or if you're what you do is it either stays in your home or you tend to throw it. Yeah. So even these old computers, clear, so 96, 95 sali je computers aale. So they have also been they are also a big part of e-waste, clear, because everyone now shifted to laptops, clear, or everyone also has shifted to using tabs, clear, because tabs are also very easy to use. So जे जुन्या काळचे जे मायक्रोसॉफ्टचे computers होते, right, the CPU, the monitor, all of that is a huge part of e-waste. Clear? And therefore, how do you deal with them? How do you tackle them? They are put in landfills, and if it is not treated first, then it causes a lot of pollution. Is that clear? So modern waste modern agents also include acid rain. Yeah, so fly ash and acid rain. So fly ash is a product of the cement industry. Okay? And acid rain, is the combination of polluted air, which contains nitrogen and sulfur, and it comes down with the rain. Clear? So it is acidic in nature. Okay, when it falls on soil, it is going to change the pH of soil, and therefore it is going to affect the soil yield, the productivity of soil. Uh, yes, so medical waste. No, medical waste is actually first burnt. It is called as incineration. Clear, and so that gets incinerated and then it is put in landfills. Yeah, so the case of medical waste causing soil pollution is very, very minor. Like, okay, because so if medical waste, it can be burnt here, but if it has some plastic, right, then that plastic is a concern. But other than that, needles, right, then even body discharges, clear, so from surgery and all of that can be destroyed. So all of that is actually incinerated, all of that is burnt clearly. Clear, so there are strict guidelines for medical waste. So you can throw your mobile phone in the dustbin, but you cannot throw medical waste in the dustbin without treating it. Is that clear? Does this answer your question? Is that clear? Right. So they are first burnt. So even तुम्ही blood donation वगैरे करायला गेला असाल तर you must have observed की um, so they have dustbins of different color, right? So red, green, and white color. Yeah, so they first segregate waste. They first segregate medical waste, and then it is treated. So ते वेगवेगळ्या पिशव्यांमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या रंगाच्या पिशव्यांमध्ये टाकण्याचा हेतूच काय आहे की फर्स्ट यू सेपरेट देम अँड देन यू ट्रीट देम. इज दॅट क्लिअर? आणि तुम्ही ब्लड डोनेशन करायला गेला असाल किंवा काही टेस्टिंग करायला गेला असाल तर तुम्हाला जे नीडल वापरतात, राईट, द सिरिंज अँड द नीडल, ते नीडल ते तिथल्या तिथे बर्न करतात. सो बिकॉज इट इज जस्ट स्टील, राईट, आय मीन इट इज जस्ट अ मेटल. सो तिथल्या तिथे ती बर्न करतात, पूर्ण पूर्ण जाळतात. सो आणि मग ती राख जी असते ती राख फेकून द्यायची. सो इट इज दॅट सिम्पल. Okay, and it is that regulated. So you shouldn't be playing around with medical waste. Clear? मोबाईल फोन काय आपण उचलून जुना म्हणजे काहीतरी जुने हेडफोन्स वगैरे दिले टाकून असं होतं. पण दॅट इज नॉट द केस विथ मेडिकल वेस्ट. ओके, इट्स व्हेरी सिरियस मॅटर. So now, yes, so even acid rain. So I was talking about acid rain. So the concern with acid rain is that it has acidic pH. Clear? And for if acidic pH rain water is falling on different soil, then it is going to decrease the productivity of the soil. Okay, it's going to be a huge concern for agriculture. Yeah, so the causes of soil pollution are these major 4 agents, and the last one is biological agents. Yeah, so that soil gets contaminated with a large amount of human excreta. There are a large amount of animal excreta and bird excreta. Clear? So that is again a huge concern, and even with your pets, right? So this is a problem again which is seen in the cities these days, is that many people have dogs, right, as pets, and they sometimes most of them are very careless in the sense that our footpaths, right, the footpaths that we have, our roads that we have, so these animals, these pet dogs, they actually litter on the road. Clear? And then people who go for morning walks, right, or people of the corporation also, PMC से जे कर्मचारी येतात, they are always cleaning it. Yeah, so it is again a concern, right? So pet owners should be responsible for this. Is that clear? Have you observed this? Because eventually it is everyone's footpath, right? So everyone should be able to walk on a clean footpath and not a footpath which is littered with animal excreta. Is that clear? So this is again how soil gets contaminated by biological agents. Yes, that is true, Anuradha. Yes, so many people clean it. Many people also don't clean it. So I think it gets nullified. So there are many people, many good people, many responsible people, but there are also many unresponsible people. So there are both kinds of people. Yes, it is a law. So so I know for Pune city, um, you can Pune city, if you litter these footpaths and the roads, then you can be fined 500 rupees. So 500 रुपयाचा fine आहे. And of course, so like in your own buildings or in your own society, the societies can have different rules, right? So you can be fined by your society also, by your building also. Yeah, so that is how you can also regulate it. Yeah. Okay, so what is this again? It's a very good image which talks about again land and soil pollution. So poor agriculture practices. I think we already saw this: fertilizers and pesticides. Then improper solid waste management. So a lot of waste management. I think we already saw this: e-waste, radioactive waste, and domestic waste. Unsafe storage of hazardous chemicals and nuclear waste. Clear. So that also is true. Then there are leachates from mismanaged landfills, right? So the landfill, if it is not treated first, then what happens? The toxic chemicals, they leach out into the soil and contaminate the soil. And of course, you have uncontrolled dumping of waste from households, industrial plants, and mining. Okay, so a very easy to read and easy to remember image, and it's an official image of UNEF. So that is why I thought I should include it. So what are the effects of soil pollution quickly? So these are last two slides, and then we will stop. Okay. Effect of soil pollution. Yes, it affects soil productivity. I think I already told you that acid rain, a lot of e-waste, a lot of chemicals, toxic products, right? They reduce soil productivity. Then it affects the soil flora and fauna. Of course, that is again very true, because you know that a healthy soil contains a good amount of bacteria. Here it contains um, a good amount of microbial life. Clear. So that bacteria, that soil bacteria, is very good for plant growth. Clear. But if you don't have rich soil, then your plants are also not going to be healthy. Yeah. And what is the concern with the waste? So not just radioactive waste, but all types of waste. The problem with that entering into the soil is that it enters the food chain. Yeah, so this is a huge concern. Okay, so soil is getting contaminated, soil is getting polluted. Yes, I agree. But what is the effect? Is that that contamination is entering your food chain. Yeah, so eventually, if you're growing, if you're farming on that polluted soil, the crop is going to absorb that arsenic, or that crop is going to absorb that nickel, chromium here, and it is going to enter into your food. Yeah, so it is eventually going to affect humans. It is going to affect animals. Clear? Why? Because we are dependent on agriculture for food. We are dependent, and agriculture is dependent on soil. Clear? So the major problem of soil pollution is that it enters your food chain. Is this clear? Everyone is understanding this? Yeah, the problem is that it is entering the food chain and therefore causing a lot of huge concern. Okay. Of course, there are effects on the animal also. Yeah, so you can see a lot of these animals which, when they eat this polluted soil, the insect, it enters their food chain and it goes up till the top consumer, right? The tertiary consumer. Okay, and therefore it puts a negative impact on the predator species. Clear? So the top consumers, which are the lions, tigers, and even vultures, right? So vultures also get hampered, right? So there was a case in Maharashtra where the vulture population was decreasing because of a variety of reasons, but one of them was that a lot of chemicals were entering into the food chain of these vultures here, and therefore it was causing death of vultures. So it's actually interesting in the sense that in my parents' generation, there were vultures in Pune city. So in the city area, you could spot vultures. Okay, but today in our generation, in my generation, we have never seen vultures in the city area, in the city limits. Okay, so because they got eradicated for a variety of different reasons. So the food chain, contaminated food chain, is one of those reasons. Yeah, so of course it affects the ecosystem also, and soil pollution can be a direct contributor to air and water pollution. Here, I think we already saw acid rain. Acidic soils are very dangerous in the sense that they do not promote good soil texture here, and they do not help in decomposition of organic matter. And therefore, the negative effects of soil pollution also impact soil quality and texture. And thereby it decreases crop productivity. It therefore, the crop yield that can be got from one piece of land, it decreases. Yeah. So how can soil pollution be controlled? It can be controlled by a variety of forestry and farm practices. So you can plant trees on barren slopes, avoid soil erosion. There can be bunding, there can be contour cultivation, there can be strip cultivation, strip cropping. Yeah, so all of this can be practiced to prevent soil erosion. Then you can use natural fertilizers instead of using chemical fertilizers. You can use biopesticides. Yes, you can read here, everyone on the slide, you can use biopesticides. So all these are natural products. They are going to be degraded in the environment and therefore not cause any soil pollution. And the last one, again, very important, is on the individual level that you should recycle and reuse different products. Yeah, so try to minimize the use and try to reuse these things. Yeah, so you can, of course, reuse paper or recycle plastics, metals, glasses. Yeah, so a lot of these petroleum products and industrial effluents can also be recycled and reused. Yeah, so at each different level, at the individual level, at the community level, and at the state and national level, whatever can be recycled should be recycled and reused. Yeah, so this is how we are going to tackle waste. Okay. Another very important, very good solution of, I mean, the easiest way of dealing with soil pollution is what you can do is remove that polluted soil and transport that soil to remote and uninhabited locations. Yeah, so whatever soil has polluted, ठीक आहे ते तरी जाऊ द्या, त्याला विसरा, नवीन soil जे आहे, try to conserve that soil. Yeah, so that is a very simple and crude method of doing it. Other than that, what can you also do for controlling soil pollution or treating soil pollution? So this is the last two slides, is that there is a method which is called as bioremediation. Okay, so what does that mean? Is you can use organisms or bacteria. You can use certain bacteria and certain organisms. You can put it in the soil, and what do? They absorb the toxic chemicals. Here you can also use fungus. Okay, what, because some of the funguses, what they do is they can actually absorb heavy metals from the soil, and therefore it can help in cleaning the soil. Are you following this concept? So bioremediation and mycoremediation are done to treat contaminated soil. Clear? So why? Because these fungus or this bacteria, clear, what do? They absorb the heavy element. So they will absorb arsenic, they will absorb chromium, they will absorb nickel. Okay, they will, some of them also can absorb strontium. Clear? So all of these contaminations can be absorbed by some plants, by some microorganisms, or by some fungus. So this whole process is called as bioremediation, or it is also called as mycoremediation. Is that clear? Have you understood this? Have you understood this last part?
Yes, ma'am.
And the another one last is again using thermal remediation. So in thermal remediation, what do? Is that you raise the temperature of the soil, and what will happen? The contaminations, whatever metals are there, whatever toxic elements are there, they will be turned into gas. Clear? And therefore, what will remain behind is the clean soil. So you can use heat, you can use fungus, you can use plants and microorganisms. Yes, Akash. So, do you have a question, Akash? Okay, here, so this is how you can treat soil pollution. So you can later look up this, what is all this? We can discuss it tomorrow also about biostimulation, bioventing, biosparging, bioaugmentation, and biopiles. Clear? So these are just different techniques. So you don't need to know the definition of each of them, but you need to know what bioremediation is. Clear? So these are the different techniques that bioremediation uses. Clear? So what do? Bioventing म्हणजे काय की soil मध्ये oxygen पुरवणं. Clear? So oxygen is going to increase the quality of soil. Clear? Or biostimulation म्हणजे काय की if it has certain good nutrients, you encourage them. Clear? So this is not actually there for yours at the SY level, but I thought that it will be interesting for you. Okay. Okay. So okay, so you can read this slide. It's a concluding slide about soil pollution. So what are the causes, what are the effects, and what are the solutions? Is that clear? So I don't know how can I do it if your doubts are. Yes, so you have a lecture tomorrow. So tomorrow we are meeting at 8:30 and we also have a lecture at 5 o'clock. Is that clear, everyone? So tomorrow we are meeting, we will stop here now and we will meet at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Akash, okay, so you want me to share the PPT at the time of the lecture. So how do you want me to do it? I mean, how should I share it?
Ma'am, you can share through the Zoom meeting only.
Through what?
Through the Zoom meeting only. You can share the file in the chat box.
Okay, okay. Okay, fine. I will look it up. Okay, so by tomorrow I will look it up and tell you. Let me. Okay.
Ma'am, you can share the PPT by Google Drive link.
Okay, I didn't hear you. Can you say it again?
Ma'am, you can share the PPT on Google Drive. We can download it from there.
Ma'am, just share with the class guardian, no?
Okay, yes. I will give it to the class guardians only. जे कोण क्लास सो प्रत्येक डिव्हिजनचे जे क्लास गार्डियन्स आहेत त्या टीचर्स कडनं तुम्हाला मिळेल. ओके. So let me just check your attendance. Yes, WhatsApp to class guardians. Yes, so the class guardians, you will get it in your WhatsApp group. You will get it from your class guardians only. So tomorrow we have a lecture at 5 o'clock and we also have it at 8:30. Okay, so we have 2 lectures tomorrow. Okay, so now let me look at the YouTube chat window. Okay, so there are no questions here. So I can log out from YouTube. Okay, so I will send you the link. Just a sec. Just a sec, I have to log in with my ID. I will send you the link.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
It is not accepting responses.
Okay, now I have turned it on right now. I have turned it on right now. Please check attendance. Okay, so the link is going to be active till 6:05 p.m. Okay, so everyone please fill the attendance. Okay, link is now active. Yes.